Hello, everyone. It's 2 o'clock on Wednesday, and bringing along something to hopefully help bring a little bit of sparkle. These films are all obviously from my colleagues at UCH Hospital in London. So, for colleagues and for staff and for patients as well, and absolutely for everybody across the world who has been joining as well. It's so lovely to have that support. Hello, Stephen. I think we've all been going through such strange times, such isolated times, and I think the more we can support and be kind to each other, the better. And origami is such a lovely way to focus the mind, do something lovely for yourself, but also, most of all, it's about sharing. So, sharing this experience, maybe making gifts for others, maybe sharing what you've done. And if you're a bit happier on yourself, you'll also help brighten others as well. So, the shine just keeps passing on. Hello, Deborah. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining me. So this week I hope will be a good one. We're going to have to really concentrate, but it's lovely. Hello, Barbara. So a little while back, I think I showed what I've called strong stars. I was just playing around a piece of paper, and I found a fold which makes very nicely the arms of a star, and it just fits together so snugly. I called them strong stars. There is a lovely, what I understand, traditional fold for a star which is out of a pentagon, which works very well. And it's very interesting to see the same kind of shapes that you'll find with that. In this case, it's made out of 5 pieces of paper, but it does allow you to then add in lots of different colors. If you happen to have any origami paper or any paper that's colored on one side and white on the other, or different on different sides, it might be good. It still looks good in white or whatever you've got, so it really doesn't matter if you don't. I will probably show you just colouring in one side because I figure not everyone's got origami paper. But if you do, this is your chance to use it. So it's pretty much just the same as the strong style before, but with some pleats. And then when you add these pleats, you can either have this nice sort of strong band there or smaller shades there. It felt quite magical. I was really pleased with this. So I'm sure others will have found it as well. It's just a case of playing with paper and things emerge, but I'm very delighted to share this. I think I've called the Strong Star with Stripes. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. So definitely grab your paper. Maybe you can even start if you haven't got two-sided paper. I'm not expecting that you do. You might want to start colouring one side or yeah. So I was just practicing just now. It's I won't be describing left and right into the screen because it's one of these things where I will probably look at my hands because that's easier for me actually. And so just follow as you see. The thing is just to be consistent with our 5 pieces of paper. As long as they're all the same way around, then it all works. Yeah. So make 5 other pieces of paper. So I'm here next week, and then the week after that is actually half term where we are. So I'm going to be taking a break that week. So got a live fold next week, but then a break the week after. And I'll put a note in some way in the title of the next weekly fold, but just to let you know. Again, keen to model that self-care, that we're all allowed breaks and we should all be taking annual leave as well. Hello, Jess, welcome. So it's important that we give ourselves breaks. So I will be taking a break for half term, but there will still be a film appearing. I've managed to pre-record these things and get it on there. And from next week onwards, for a couple of weeks, I think it is, focusing on love, thinking about Valentine's coming up, but thinking of love more generally for family and for friends, and also that self-care for ourselves as well. I think a heart is always a lovely symbol. So I've got a couple of hearts, one of which I learnt in Malmo actually. So I don't know the origins of that, but I was shown that in an amazing. It was a hello, Adrian. It was a lovely festival of play, and it was really aimed at children and families and encouraging both children and adults to be playful and have some lovely time together. Exactly. Well, thanks for waving though, Jess. I will imagine that. Yes, no, I can't see you. It's funny. It must all feel like, yeah, of course you can see each other. Whereas I'm basically talking to myself, but the chat box makes me know that I really am chatting to you. And honestly, it makes such a difference. If I didn't see the chat box, I'd just think, oh, I'm just talking to myself. Money, Laura, lovely to have you here as well. Thank you for joining. So yeah, make sure you get some paper. Elizabeth, welcome as well. Lovely to have you here too. Brilliant. So we're going to be making a stripy star, and it's out of We can hear you. Thank you, honey. I'm going to make out of 5 pieces of paper. So I'm going to go right from the basics. So I'm going to show you from A4 paper. If I make 5 squares, I probably have to use at least 2 pieces of paper. And I might just colour on one side so you can see which side it is I'm folding. I don't know. Has anybody ever seen this? Paula, welcome. Lovely to have you here. Thank you for coming along. Has anybody ever seen a star like this? I'm sure they must have existed before. Others must have found this, but I was quite pleased with this. So I thought I'd save it for a kind of a darker time. Although actually there's been a little bit of light. It's feeling a bit brighter here. I don't know what the seasons are like where you are, whether you have seasons. Of course, not every country has seasons. So I feel very thankful for seasons. And of course, that's something which very much is part of Japanese culture as well, celebrating the change. It's like a life cycle, isn't it? And of course, cherry blossom season is very special. I've actually been to Japan twice, both times at the cherry blossom season. It's so special. Oh, that's a good idea, money. Junk mail. Yes, that's the way to go. So maybe there's a more colourful side. It will look really interesting. I'd love to see what you make with that. That'll look fantastic. So yeah, chatting away and I've forgotten the time. So I think we can get going. So I've got something to press on. I am going to grab a piece of paper. What we're going to do, I think, unfortunately, it's 5. You end up having to go into 2 pieces of paper, I find. Yeah, and it really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. Very, very happy memories. And also that you're just, they have a weather forecast, which is lovely, of the cherry blossom where it is. And we were in Tokyo at the temple where it's seen when that one cherry blossom, a cherry tree comes into blossom, and that's the sort of official start of cherry blossom time in Tokyo. And we were there, and it was so fun. It's like a paparazzi surrounding this little tree. It was so sweet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, lots of drinking as well, definitely. A lot of merriment. People bring out these blue tarpaulins, big picnics, get quite drunk with their colleagues often. Great fun. Right, so I'm going to take an A4 piece of paper and I'm just going to fold it in half lengthwise. And what I want you to do is make 5 squares. So we just need 5 squares. Maybe you have paper already, maybe you don't. I'm assuming you don't, so you may be making it like I am. This means I can make 4, and unfortunately I'm going to have to go on to a second piece of paper. It's just how it is. That's the wonderful 5. So I'm going to take a corner, fold it down. I've got a feeling, I always hope it would make 6 pieces this paper, but I don't think it does. I'll just check. You never know. Miracle may have happened. So I'm just making a little square. So you just need to make 5 matching squares. So I've taken my A4 piece of paper, folded it in half. I was folding a friend the other day and he looked astonished as I did my whole little routine of making a square of paper. Don't you have origami paper? I was like, I do. It's such a habit now, making my own. It's 1 square, second square. Yeah, you see, it'll only take 2 from this strip. So I've just got so used to doing it this way. It's part of a ritual now, I think. I rather like it. Sort of. Good bit of focus needed. Good sharp lines, good top, good strong folds, good tears. 2. That'll just be put by, probably for making a list with or making a little square and playing around to see what happens. There we go. Number 1. Over, folding it back. Oh. So yeah, get preparing your 5. Here we go. And another one. Yes. Bit of a shame you have to go into second sheet of paper, but hey, it's how it is. I think I find it very relaxing. That's probably why I end up doing this. Oh, excellent. Oh, that sounds great, Jess. Yeah. And wrapping paper is brilliant. It's funny, I've never really got quite round to doing it, but I really should, because it's absolutely perfect, isn't it? It's white on one side and interesting patterns on the other, and absolutely just as good as origami paper that you buy. And it's funny, isn't it? It's just habit as to whether you've got on and done it. It's well done getting on and doing that. And a lot more unique as well. You won't see others with the same folding if you're using wrapping paper too. And maybe it's paper that's already been used as well, so it might be really good recycling stuff. Or just a tiny bit from a roll. Right, how are you all getting on? I have got my 5 squares. They just need to all match. I'm going to do a bit of colouring as well. I know for those of you who it's already, you've got your paper. Apologies for you to have to wait for a bit, but I'm assuming not everyone will be in the same position. So I'm going to just really, really quickly colour. So if you are colouring as I am, open it up, turn it over so it's got the mountain on the back. And I'm just going to add a really quick scribble of colour. This is just so you can know which side is which, because I know lots of people find it a bit tricky. Or just to say as well, both Eric and Penny have both very kindly been in touch saying that things are happening for them today. So not to worry at all that they're not here. They're doing good things. Okay, next one. Excellent. So you got all that Christmas paper. Good idea. Yes, it will be wasted. Terrible waste, isn't it? And yet there's something so interesting about presents. That is the whole wrapping, which I guess is like folding really, which makes something special. It's showing that you put in the time. Whereas if you just gave somebody all the things as they are, it's just not the same. You just need someone to have things up. Very great squirrels. Quite therapeutic in its own way. Right. Next one for me. Oh, an orange. Maybe a pink. Oh, sorry, I'm so relaxed when we forgetting to chat. It's all this preparation. Right, and final one for me. How are you all getting on? Excellent. Huh. Oh, that's funny, Jess. So using the same wrapping paper. Wow. That's very cool. Maybe this is like watching paint dry. So I have now 5 matching pieces of paper, which are coloured on one side and white on the other. How are you all getting on? I hope that wasn't too time consuming just watching me colouring, but I'm figuring not everyone will have paper ready as well, so I'm assuming that I get us all moving from scratch. So what do you reckon? Are you ready to start folding? You got your papers prepared? Yes. Thanks, Money. Excellent. So the thing for this is to just be completely consistent, and I will be consistent. So I am going to have my diagonal folds all the same way round. As I said, I'm not even going to refer to which is which side, because what you see is different from what I'm seeing. Great, ready. Excellent. So I've got my diagonal line there, and I'm going to take this line and I'm going to bring it to the diagonal line, like so. So up here, and I brought it down. And next, I'm going to turn it over like so. And I'm going to take the top corner and bring it along the diagonal line. And what you've made there is a parallelogram, like so. And next, I'm going to take this corner. I'm going to make a line from this corner to this corner. It's always an interesting angle. So I'm taking and going from this corner to this corner. And I'm deliberately not folding it straight to the camera because I found it can't take too much spatial stuff in the mirror and then looking at my hands. But this is what you've got. And actually, what you've got here, I'm going to turn it around actually. This is the front of the star because there's this long, smooth area. And we're just going to tighten up the arm of the star. You can sort of see there's one side of the arm. I'm going to take this side and bring it to the diagonal. I'm going to be doing this 5 times, so I will be doing it again. So don't worry if you have gotten a twist. So it's like this. And I'm going to turn to the back and I'm going to take this bit that sticks out to the middle diagonal line as well. We'll come back to the stripes. Let's just make our pieces first of all. So there we go. Right, I'm going to do the next one. So again, I've got it this way round the diagonal there. I'm going to take this line and bring it to the diagonal. Like so. And then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to take this top edge and bringing it. Yes, you're welcome, Paula. Sorry, I almost have to focus so much with something like this because if you sort of have to get in this flow, I hope I'm not going too fast. This line to the diagonal. Like so. And what you've made is a parallelogram. And I'm going to go from this corner to this corner. It always takes almost hold my breath, it feels like, when I'm folding this line. But this is the thing. This is the angle which must give you your 5 arms somehow. It almost feels like it slightly curves. I just love it. Beautiful. And if I turn it round, this is that long side, the front of your star. I'm going to take this edge and bring it to the diagonal. I've also made a film with this as well. And obviously, this is recorded, so you'll be able to go back to it as well. Be patient and kind to yourself. I'm going to turn to the back. I'm going to take this side and bring it to the diagonal. So, just turn it to the front again. Helps me think. Right, I've done 2 of those. Next, are you ready for another one? So again, got your diagonal line there. The important thing is that you're just doing it the same way, and I'm doing it the same way each time. Taking this line here, and I'm going to bring it to the diagonal. Again, just being really calm, really focused. Just enjoy giving your complete attention. Like so. Happy? And then turning it to the front. And I'm going to take this edge and bring it to the diagonal, which will make a parallelogram. You need to make a parallelogram each time. Like so. And again, from this corner to this corner. And you always sort of halve a little bit there. And as I said, it's always an interesting one, this fold. I feel like you can't quite see what you're doing. Almost hold your breath. And fold it there. You have to take your time, really make sure you're getting to the right point. And if you turn it round, this is the front. This isn't the easiest fold, so if you're finding it tricky, don't worry. It's to be expected. It's not particularly easy. It's funny because there's not that many folds in it, but it's very spacious somehow. So you have to be completely on the ball. And I certainly find if I look into the camera and then I look at my hands, then my brain can't cope. So I'm going to take this line and bring it to the diagonal line. But I hope you're able to follow. And just enjoy the puzzle and the feeling of encouraging yourself. Are you? Yes, Jess. Yeah, I completely get that. And I found that I could easily get in a twist, which is why I'm having to stare down at my hands, because if I do otherwise, my brain starts to be in a little bit of a... But you will get it. It's about being consistent. And I guess just going nice and slowly. So turning to the back. Yes, that's why I'm not referring to... oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's why I'm not referring to lefts and rights and things like that, because I know it will really confuse. Taking this line and bringing it there. And it may be, actually, if you're following me, then it ends up being the other way around, but it doesn't matter. Yes, it's a big old tangle in your head, isn't it? It's best not to think about these things probably sometimes. Turning it to the front. And you have got the video there as well. Right. Happy for me to go on to another one? How are you doing, people? Has anybody managed to... I know! It should be so simple, because there's honestly not many folds in there. I mean, my diagram, which I've done for myself, which is what I'm following, is fairly simple. There's honestly not many folds. But somehow it's so hard on the brain. Yeah, it's extraordinary. It really is. And I almost have to have footnotes there, because otherwise it should be simple, but it's not. So don't worry, it's a little puzzle. It may not all come together this time, but you know that you will. And yeah, and maybe kind of being quieter with it. It's a parallelogram fold. I know. It's so weird, isn't it? And it almost seems to... it's an odd shape, but it almost seems to sort of curve. Yes, here goes. Well, I have recorded a film, and obviously this is recorded too, so I am doing it the same each time. The only reason I know I'm doing it the same time is because I'm following my diagram the same each time, because otherwise I could end up switching and I go, why isn't it fitting? Oh, well done. Yes. Well, if they're all the same, Stephen, it will work. Yeah, we've got some pleats to add actually to them as well. This is the same as the strong star, but... So again, this diagonal line here, I'm going to take... oh, sorry, no, I almost switched because I looked into the camera. Right, this way round. And I'm going to take this line and bring it up. So I am keeping consistent in the camera. There we go. I'm bringing this down. And then I'm turning it over. Yes. We will definitely let Eric know we're missing him. I think he knows he's a very special member of the group. So I'm going to take this bottom line and bring it to the diagonal. Yes, I think he said it's a very good one against the light, so he's obviously been making it already. So we've got a parallelogram, and we're going to go from this corner to this corner. That's it. So always you're doing the fold across that, and you end up tucking that away. And it is just something very interesting. And I think this is somehow the magic I feel from the star is this fold. This folding from the corners of the parallelogram obviously produced the angle for a star. But somehow it's quite hard on the brain. So it was like this, and I folded it along that diagonal. Now this is the back of the star. That doesn't look particularly neat, so don't worry, Jess. It's definitely good to have a bit of a laugh about it, I think. I'm turning it round, and this is the front of the star, that nice long banded area. I'm going to take this side and I'm going to fold it to that diagonal line. So yeah, this is a challenge this week. Next week, I think it's next week. Yeah, we've got a couple of really nice ones coming up. They'll be much easier. I mean, as I said, there's not many folds in this, but somehow it's a good old twist on the old brain. This side to this one. but it makes a very nice star too. It really feels like all the arms hug together. I'm just turning it again to the front. This long bit is the front of our star. Right. Little hats or something. I'm going to do my last piece now. Here we go. Diagonal there. Are you ready for the last piece? And if you're not, don't worry. Just see this as work in progress. You can come back to the video. Maybe the one I've recorded is better. I don't know. Yeah. So my diagonal line there, I'm going to take this line and I'm going to bring it to the diagonal. I have done it the same each side, each time, like so. I'm going to turn it round, like so. Yeah, though everybody seems to find this tricky. This line to this line. I'm sure it's very good for you to do something that's tricky. And it's funny because you can't say the actual folds are tricky. It's obviously about your brain trying to get hold of this. Oh, yeah, just see, Laura. Oh, yes, I know. It really is an interesting, twisty thing. This corner to this corner. It's great fun to play around with. It looks a bit strange on this side. Turn it round. That's the front because it's got the long area. I take this side and bring it to that line. Exactly. Please do have a bit of a laugh about it. It's kind of, I think origami is about increasing your tolerance to frustration. It is part of the joy. It's also part of the achievement when things do finally, possibly, they will eventually work out. And that's what makes the achievement so much better. I turn to the back. The very first fold. Yeah, that's an essential one, isn't it? Oh, it's really just one side brought to the diagonal, turning it over, making a parallelogram, and then go from one corner of the parallelogram to the other, and you've ended up with the right sort of shape. But you have to do it consistently between every 5 pieces. It's good for I know, I'm sorry, this is not an easy one, even though there's not many folds honestly within it, this side to this side, but it's clearly gymnastics for the brain. And I'm turning it over. Right, so if you haven't managed to make it this far, be kind on yourself. You're doing great. Just trying something tricky is what you should be kind to yourself about. Right, so I'm just going to show you how I'm going to have to look down at my hands because I can't do it looking into the screen. So what I'm going to just show you is how it just very neatly fits. So, right, you've got 2 exactly the same place. And I'm going to bring this over and I'm just going to shift this round one direction. And what I can do is then pop. Oh, sorry, need to undo this as well. Oh, what am I doing? Oh, yeah, no, it's easy. So again, it's me just looking at it upside down. As I said, I find it hard work too. So I've got them 2 same position. And I just twist it slightly so that this back arm will pop into that little pocket. And then this is just the principle of it, first of all. And then you can just tuck it over and it just seals in really nicely. So this is the strong star. You always have this little bit of white, which is quite nice. But all I'm going to show you is actually just adding some pleats to make it even more sophisticated. So I'm just going to take that out again. But I was just wanting to show you the principle. So at the moment, you have a piece like this. I'm just going to show you how to pleat it. So this is the front of your star. So if you just open up this front area, so I'm just pulling it down. So this is now smoothish area. Oh, does it? Oh, that's brilliant, Deborah. I'm hoping it will still work. You may have found another variant. This is what I've been playing around. I've been using this and I'm finding what variants I can take. So I'm going to take this side this middle and I'm going to fold it to the outside. So I'm just adding a pleat. And that would give you this effect. Now, if you want it so it's got more colour, it's got quite a bit of white then in there. If you want more colour, adding another pleat will give this effect. So this area which is white, I can then pleat back again. My apologies for not doing this into the camera, but I just know I'll never cope. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do that to each of them. Now, to fold it up, I'm going to just retrace my steps. So I'm bringing that back. Oh, just bringing that back. That's all. So you need to tuck that under and then fold that in. So you're back to how it was in terms of shape as before, but you've got a nice little pleat. As I said, this is a work in progress. Don't be hard on yourself. So this is the unit. I'm opening up that front area. This is always the front area, that long smooth area. Bringing that down, and I'm bringing this edge out to the top. Have you made something like this before, Stephen? I feel like many of us will have done. I'm just intrigued. I brought it back and I'm going to pleat it. So I rather like the pleated. Like so. And then I'm going to tuck that under. So if you feel like you've got lost, just sit back, relax. Just knowing that you can get back to the films when you feel like it if you're up for a challenge, but be patient and kind to yourself. That's what it's all about. Again, another unit, the smooth area, undoing all of this. And I'm just going to pleat this area just to make it decorative. It's not changing the shape at all, but it does make it look a lot more complex. There are various other variants you can do with this as well, I found. But I thought this was the most striking, so this is a little treat for you all, if you're able to. And the biggest treat is the one that you're able to give yourself. Yeah. Oh, interesting, Stephen. So folding that under, because there's not, in a way, many folds, are there here? But they are mind-bending, and I don't know why. I truly don't know why. Next unit, opening this up. And again, going from this outside, inside to the outside, pleating the area. So I'm keeping lots of colour. Maybe you could even pleat that line again. Tucking that underneath. And bringing that back where it was originally. Like so. One last one. Undoing this. Next few weeks will be easier than this. Inside to the outside. And then pleating it back. Tucking this under. And folding this in. And I guess for you following this, you're trying to do an awful lot, aren't you? Because it's completely new. You're trying to look at your hands, at my hands. You're trying to gauge the conversations, etc. So it's not surprising. It's pretty hard. But maybe with the film or the one that I've made already, it'll be a little bit simpler because you can pause, you can go back, you can change the speed. These are the things that I've had to use for learning things. So, shall we attempt to build a star? So each time, I guess I would go for kind of matching it and then changing one position. So you can see there it is, shifting round. It will then fit in there. So I can pop that in there. No, I'm going to have to look at my hands. All right, I can't do it. So, same way round, tilt it round, and I can then, oh, sorry, no, what am I doing? Same way around. Is that working? Gosh, suddenly frazzled my mind. Oh, there we go. The challenge continues. Right, I've got them the same way round. This is always the front of your star. So I'm going to pop that in there. So it's a pocket. And if you find the pocket doesn't work very well, and it actually works a little less well with the pleats, you can always open it up slightly. Pop it in. These things will only ever work in your own kind of hands. So take your time. I recommend doing this yourself quietly and gently. And you will get there. And it's the same way round. I'm popping that back arm into the pocket where it's lined. And then this is almost like a little tuck over it. That's it. Going to the next side. Again, the same way round. Tilt this back one more tuck into the pocket. I'd love someone to explain why it feels so hard on the brain. But it is the joy of origami. It's about not giving up. There we go. You can see a star is very much emerging. Dear me. So I'm matching it up, tilting it one bit so that this will slot in. Again, sorry, I'm having to do it looking into my hands rather than the screen because I'm just not able to adjust otherwise. And I've just got one final side. So anything modular, to complete it all, you have to go from the back to the front. So there's that moment that you have to squeeze it all, and you're going to have to change direction. If it couldn't get any harder. Oh, a freestyle, good for you. Yeah, this probably isn't one for your students, or they'll just get too irritated by it all. So where am I? Right. So I've got a bit sticking out of the back, and I need to be able to bring this round. So I'm twisting one to the other. And this will go into this pocket. It's not an easy fold, is it? Tuck that in and tuck that over. You can relax afterwards. Let's put it that way. But it has come together, and look what a decorative, amazing star that is. I think you'll feel like a superstar if you've managed to do it. It's kind of interesting because if you've ever made the traditional star from Pentagon, you have the same shape on the back too. It's very interesting, but it's made in a kind of a different way. Have any of you managed anything, or have I been? My apologies if it's been very hard to follow. Done my best, but you can always go back to the film. It's slowly getting it, yeah. And I think it's going to be slow because you're having to get it yourself on top of everything else. Yeah. Yes, it is. It's the diagonal folding. I think you're right. It's that parallelogram and going through that corner. I don't know why. It almost feels like it curves. There's something very interesting about that angle. But look, it can produce a perfect star at the end of it. So it's worth sticking with. How are you doing, people? I hope you've... Wow, well done, Manny. That's amazing. Laura, that's brilliant. And I hope for others that if you've just, decided to watch, good on you. That's the way to do it. And know that in your hands and with concentration and with time, you will get there. It's not an easy star, but you'll be a star if you can stick with it and feel the satisfaction. Isn't it a lovely complex looking thing that Excellent. Well done, Barbara. I'd love to see as well what people have made if it's worked out. It feels a bit loose. Yeah. Well, it's probably a little bit loose because in a way, well, when the strong start before you pleat it, it's covering the arms a lot more. Um, oh, yes. Oh, well done, Stephen. Yeah. It's a lot more challenging than you'd ever think. I mean, this is all the notes that I have. It's not much, is it? But it feels a lot more than that. So, well, good luck, everyone. Exactly, Deborah. That's the way to do it if it's just a bit much. But no, if you'd like to make your own, you will be able to do it. And just you need to sort of focus in your own mind first of all. You're very welcome, Paula. So, wishing you all a good week. I will be back next week with some kind of a heart, and then I'll be taking a break the week after. But then I'll be back for normal. Yeah. That's yes, Barbara. What a way to start the day. Oh my word. It's like starting the day with a marathon or something. I don't think this is one for your students, is it really? But yeah. Wishing you a good week, everyone. I hope you can stay well and look after yourself. And I'll see you next week. Bye bye, everyone. Take a happy folding.